Good morning, Janice.
Good morning, Anthony.
Today we're going to talk about one of your favorite topics, virtual
Yes.
assistants. So we'll discuss 9 tasks you should outsource to your virtual assistant. And, okay, I'm going to just do it. I'm just going to brag and say that
Just brag.
I am
Just do it.
often, I mean like often told that I look 20 years younger than my actual age. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yep.
But for this,
Golf
seriously,
clap.
okay, I would say I would thank my virtual assistants for making my life a lot less soul draining and a lot less tedious. And for that, if even if I don't actually look 20 years younger than I actually am,
It
I
still
feel
feels
it.
good.
Yeah, I feel
Right.
much less stress. I feel just life is better. And I highly recommend to anyone, corporate, self-employed, everything, that you should consider getting a virtual assistant for yourself today. Stay-at-home moms, everyone can benefit from extra hands, extra intelligent support. So with that, please lead us
Take
down
it
the list,
away.
Janice. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more about the virtual assistant that everyone needs one. And I think on the flip side of that, where you may look 20 years younger, I, as a virtual assistant, sometimes feel 20 years older. But you
You're
know
like
what? I
Dorian
love,
Gray. Yeah.
I know, right? But no, honestly, though, I love what I do because I know it takes pressure off of everyone that you can lend some assistance for. So here are 9 different tasks that you can outsource. Number one, bookkeeping. How much do you like to keep records on everything that you do? It's frustrating, it's time consuming. And you know what? Someone else can do it probably quicker, easier, and just could you imagine sitting there tax time and your information just shows up pretty on a spreadsheet ready to go? I mean, think about that. Think of how much time you would save.
So this is actually one topic where I do it myself only because I have a tax background and I'm super detail oriented on this and I'm
Yes.
self-employed. But for most people, my clients, my estates, I could see this being a godsend.
Yes. Yep. I've actually helped at one point a client personally get his finances in order because he was just so frustrated and overwhelmed that he's like, I don't know where to start. So I said, okay, hand me everything you got. We'll get you started. And you would be amazed at like the turnaround that was, the relief off of just an hour worth of help in that department. So number 2, online research. This is pretty simple. I mean, Googling, you ever start Googling something and you end up then looking at puppies that are laughing at, cows? I mean, you know the Google rabbit hole that we get into, but sometimes you need something researched, and you can have your virtual assistant do it. I give one example of I assisted a restaurant who wasn't sure how to price their food.
Okay.
So we looked up every salad, every hamburger in the area to give them an accurate price of what that should be. So think
Market
about how
research,
much time
baby.
that would have
It's
taken you
great.
to say, how much should I charge for a Caesar salad? But now you have research that was done online and was done only in just an hour or two to give you real pricing. I mean,
And the hour or two they paid you for probably felt a lot. I mean, they could have done it themselves, but
sure.
that's a lot of work.
But when you're opening a restaurant, is that really what you want to do and sit down and start typing away on how much a Caesar salad costs across town?
Yeah.
It's just something little that you took off their plate. Really, that's what we do as virtual assistants. We take stuff off your plate so you could do what you really want to do.
2 points on
Uh,
that. Going down the rabbit hole. So if your virtual assistant, it's their job to get an answer to you and they're getting paid to get it done, to me, it seems like they're much less likelihood to go down different weird paths in
Absolutely.
their research. So if somebody is trying to figure out why does my elbow hurt, right? And so
Right.
these could be personal tasks. If I'm looking for myself, I may very well end up down some weird medical
Right.
diagnosis.
Right.
Whereas a VA who's a little bit more dispassionate will, bing bang boom, give you the answer. And on
Right.
top of
Right.
that,
We know
on
the
top
end game. You want that answer. Yeah.
yeah. And one other thing, for example, my wife bought a printer a year or two ago, and normally she would spend hours on Amazon and Staples and whatever comparing and oh wait, this one has wireless Wi-Fi and this one has this kind of cartridge. That kind of analysis
I get
paralysis.
it. Yeah.
Whereas there's a psychological thing where if somebody tells you this is the result and this is what you should buy, it's just easier. You just kind of
is.
rely on the authority and you just do it instead of torturing yourself with the analysis.
Yes, because then you're second guessing and then you're looking at others and then you're like, wait, maybe I shouldn't.
Yep.
It's really nice when someone hands it to you with just an hour research behind their,
And a conclusion. Yeah.
behind them.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Number 3, database work. I could give a recent example in one of your cases. You have an estate. You collected all of their cards. They received a lot of Christmas cards, the decedent. And the executor wanted to have a nice list of all of the addresses and return addresses so they could notify them. I get a big chunk of Christmas cards, make a beautiful list. It took not very long, and it's over with. It's you have this nice list. It's the same with business cards. Do you ever go somewhere and you get stacks of business cards and you're thinking, well, what am I going to do with them now? Database. You put them all in there. They're at your fingertips. Now you can get to them, and you can have someone else do it. It's going to take them quite a lot, limited amount of time compared to it might take you hours to type in each one and go to the next line. And, especially if you have VA, that database work is what they do.
Yeah. The less sexy word for this, that might be data entry, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
this can apply to anything. If you have a sign-in sheet at an event, if you, something to do with your kids' stuff, signing some PTA type stuff, a lot of different scenarios for this.
Absolutely. Anytime you have a big stack of information that you want to put on a database, I mean, these VAs are great for that. This is a great use of their time. Yeah. Presentations, number 4. So PowerPoint or creating a flyer. Do you have an event that's coming up and you're thinking, this is what I want it to look like? I've received pieces of paper in the mail with handwritten chicken scratch and pencil. And it says, please make this into a flyer. And we do. And that's what we do, because you know what? Do you really have time to sit down and make sure that the font's the same and it's exactly in the middle? And, it's all those things. You're like, listen, I just want to have the event, make the flyer, and we're done. Easy enough.
From a design point of view, it's been my experience that a lot of people think they're better at design than they actually are.
I will agree.
I'm guilty. I'm totally guilty of that. I made my first website, and my wife Hannah looked at it and was like, wait, are you serious?
Oh, no.
So I thought it was really good, too. And I was like, oh, I guess not. But so yeah,
thanks.
VAs will often have a design background, or if not, know how to outsource it to get it well designed. And just when you compare what you get as a paid result versus what you do yourself, you'll maybe have that wake up call that I had.
Yeah. So now, do you use VAs for your designing? Or
Diana Diana has a design background. She's awesome. Yeah.
She's great. She's phenomenal. Yeah. Number 5, email management and filtering. I don't know about you, but personally, I get maybe 100 plus emails a day. Now, consider you're on the road, you're running around from here to there. Do you really have time to go through each one and say, is this real? Is this not real? Does it just need an okay, thanks, have a good day? You can actually have someone that's on the other end of that, helping you filter them, helping you sort them, and helping you manage them. Could you imagine at the end of the day, you have 5 emails waiting for you that says these are the only 5 that you really have to look at?
Yeah.
How much time would that save and stress?
This seems like in big organizations like universities or corporate, I've heard this is a big deal. Like you literally get hundreds of emails per day, and most of them are CCs or one-liners, right?
Absolutely. Or you'll be in a thread of emails and there's maybe 15, and really all you needed was to look at that last one. But by the time you sorted through the 15, you're stressed out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Number 6, social graces. Thank you cards, holiday cards. Yeah. Holiday cards are big at the end of the year. A lot of people like to send them, but they don't have time to sit down and write them out. Yep. VA is perfect for that. I've done Christmas cards, I think, for the last 10 years of my life for a few different companies. Cool. I sit down and write them down, and they end up in the mailbox, and no one's the wiser, and they look lovely. Nobody knows I'm sitting there watching baseball, while I'm writing out Christmas cards. But
wait a second, there's no baseball when you're writing Christmas cards. Fake story.
What is it? When it gets to football or sports.
All right,
the moral of the story is I'm not sitting in an office. I'm watching TV and I'm writing Christmas cards, and they just miraculously end up in the client's, mail. So it's nice. It takes the pressure off of you because you'd like to send them, but don't have time.
You're making me feel bad because I don't do that, and maybe I should for more clients.
A lot of people are getting away from that. That's why I said only 2 clients. I have a lot more than that do not have anything to do with holiday cards. But thank you notes are great. If you have something that comes up and want a thank you note, that's what VAs can do. And along the lines of holidays, number 7 is booking travel. Mm-hmm. Have you ever tried to book travel? Same with what you were saying with your wife with the printer. Mm-hmm. You're going to start down that Google rabbit hole of, okay, I want to go to Mexico. And you start and you research. Next thing you know, you're looking at somewhere in Antarctica. I mean, it's just kind of the how it starts one way and ends another. But if you said to somebody, your VA, I would like to go to Mexico, I'd like to stay here, find me a good price, find me a good flight. Could you imagine just having shown, you get a piece of paper that says, okay, here's where you're going to go, and this is the best price that you can get.
And it doesn't just have to be booking. I mean, that's huge too. But if you're, you just want to keep that in your under your control. What about coordinating the trip, the agenda, like figuring out dinner reservations for each night?
Yes.
That would be awesome, right? Making sure that the hotel that has all the amenities and what are the hours, right? Without having to click through the website. Or how am I going to get from the airport to the hotel? Is there a free shuttle? Is it best to do Uber in that country? All those details can be sorted out for you without you spending all this time on your phone and hunching over and all that stuff.
Exactly. So I had a client that was traveling to the Bahamas. It was not all inclusive, so they needed to have some food. I arranged for a service to go to the grocery store. They don't have like Uber Eats. You had to go. They went to the grocery store. They got all the food. When the client arrived, the refrigerator was stocked.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. So then it was stocked, and then I arranged for I think 3 or 4 different nights out of the trip. A chef came in and cooked food, so they didn't even have to leave to go out to dinner those nights.
Was
but
this
that's
one of
just
your,
something little.
Yeah, was this one of your lawyer clients?
No, this was actually a businesswoman going on a trip with her family. Yep.
Oh,
And she just said, "Oh, I just don't know how to get the food." I said, "I'm on it."
That's awesome. I'm going to call you soon. When we get offline, we'll have some stuff to talk about.
I'm going on a trip, Janice, but it's those little things that they show up and it's there. It's just one less thing to do it.
Yeah.
But it goes right into number 8, which is scheduling and coordinating, booking appointments with clients, following up with clients, different, if you have your schedule and wouldn't it be nice to just have, oh, look, 10 a.m. I have an appointment. Isn't that wonderful? You cut out all the back and forth and all the scheduling, and it just appears on your schedule. Like, okay, it takes out all of that back and forth and the extra emails that we talked about earlier.
So I've experimented with the online scheduling tools where you're the person who wants to speak with you can just click around and see your calendar and then get the appointment. So I like it, but I don't think the real world is quite there yet. And the reason is this. Janice, my calendar is not always 100% up to date. Is yours?
No, definitely
Right?
not.
So what happened when I tried doing that was it worked like 2/3 of the time, which is pretty good. But the other third of the time, I would have to end up rescheduling so many stuff because a client would book a time that didn't work for me because it's my fault, but I didn't maintain my calendar properly. And I don't want my life to be like so, constantly making sure my calendar is up to date. So for that reason, a live person seems to work better for me. And Diana does a great job of this. And the difference is, yes, she does have to check my calendar, but she also just as a human being kind of just knows from being around me. Oh yeah, I think Anthony, picks up his kid that day, or that day he mentioned casually that he might be picking up his kid. Let me check with him before I book this date. That human element is still seems to be important to me, at least. That's been my experience. Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, as somebody that would like to schedule with you, it would be nice to speak with somebody and kind of work together with them instead of just clicking like a blind time. It would be nice to have that human interaction. I personally feel that's a little bit nicer, but you're right. I mean, she knows your schedule and can make it work best, but think of all that back and forth that you cut out at that point. And then the final one that's talked about here, outsourcing the virtual assistant, is personal errands. That's a big thing because think about your day. You do so much in a day. You're working, you're going here, you have a meeting, and you've got something coming up and you need, another example I had is somebody needed a plaque, a thank you plaque, put a picture in it. Nobody needed to say, just didn't have time to research, get it, pick it up. Sure. And that's where I came in. So the day of the event, here you go. Here's your plaque. You're ready to go. You walk in and everything is good. But if that person had to go to the store, find the plaque, find the inscription, wait for it to be inscripted, I mean, that's a lot of time and it's a lot of extra stress. So this is one less thing on their plate.
Yeah, that seems like anything that you can't just get done on Amazon, right? Where you need to find a plumber or a plaque. I mean, I wouldn't know where to begin to find. I guess I would Google, but then I would have 5 results that I have no context on, right? So anyway, but this particular area seems really well suited for moms. And at the risk of sounding sexist, moms seem to be the ones who run the household, run the kids' agendas, they have a lot of things they have to keep coordinated, and extra help seems like it would be really helpful for them.
I could not agree more. I couldn't. You're right. And I'm a mom as well as working, but to take one thing off of my plate in a day is magical. Just one.
I mean, so Janice, for just taking a random example, doctor's appointments, right? Does your kid's doctors do online scheduling, or do you have to call and there's a lot of back and forth?
There used to be a lot of back and forth. We're now online with the scheduling, but like you said a minute ago, sometimes I forget to put it on the schedule.
Yep.
And it's a lot. And then you figure with 4 kids, you're not all going to the doctor at the same time. You got one at one time, one at another time, but it's a lot of coordination.
In the city, even it's actually kind of late, but it's coordinating or sorting out summer camp programs. That's a big thing with parents. And just comparing what's out there, or, making the schedules work. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done.
And with all of this, I say, if you have something that you need to do, you don't have time, you don't want to do it, or you don't know how to do it, ask your virtual assistant and see if it's something they can do. Most likely they will either try or they have somebody in their circle that can do it. Just ask. And I always say, as long as it's not a gray area or, criminal, I'll talk about it. We can figure it out. But right, there's got to be boundaries. But think about it. Just ask them. Yeah. Worst cases, they'll say no. Best cases, you're going to have something show up on your desk that you didn't have to do. Took someone an hour, couple of bucks, and it's done.
All right. I think that's all we have. If I haven't made this clear, I highly recommend Janice, but not too highly because I want her to have enough time to work for me.
Just a little highly, not all the way, right?
But I think you have your own team, yes? So anyone who's interested, reach out to Janice, and I won't necessarily lose her, but you'll get somebody who's part of her team, and I mean, it just makes your life so much better. I don't know how else to put it,
Just one little thing, absolutely.
All right, cool. So thanks, Janice, for sharing that. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll talk next time. Take care.
We'll talk soon.